Hey, greetings from the Pacific Northwest. Bo here. I had this idea for a thread. And this is not something that's not been done before. I mean, it's been done quite a few times. But some people ask me, hey, when are you going to do a record video? So I don't really have any finds, haven't had any finds in a while. I've got a couple of records ordered coming. I'm a big Samantha Fish fan, and one that I didn't have, and she's got a new record out called Paper Doll. So check that out. She's a great blues guitarist, very good. But so my idea, it started off as kind of like covers that I like better than the originals, but it kind of morphed from that to just who did it better. Just an opinion thing. Maybe a thread could come out of this. You could tell me. I didn't, pick every single possible combination out here. It's piling up bigger than I wanted it to. But so comment, tell me which ones you like best of these, or if you've got some options that you like better than the ones I showed. Sounds like Florida just scored. Got Florida, Toronto on the other end. 3 power plays in the friggin' first period for Florida. Come on, Toronto. Pull it out. Yes, I'm an American and I'm rooting for a Canadian hockey team. So what? So sue me. I like Austin Matthews. Although Phil Esposito is my all-time favorite player. Jesus saves. Espo scores on the rebound, as you see. Anyhow, so let's get to this thing, right? Enough hockey talk. So today's Eric Burdon's birthday, of all things. Eric Burdon from Eric Burdon and the Animals. So they do a cover of River Deep Mountain High. And what's really special about the cover, and here's the original from Ike and Tina Turner. What's great about the original is it's got this huge homage to Tina Turner herself. So I love the original. I think in this instance, I prefer the cover better. It's got that when she passed away, I posted it on an Instagram story because, he does that part where the Tina, Nina, na. There's just something about the Animals, both versions of the band, whether it be the original Animals or the new Animals. And I think this has got Love has Dave Summer from The Police this is the last Animals album and he was on it. But cover version, for me, the best, the better of the two. This is going to have this one's got 4 different versions. And I don't know what the original is, but we're just going to start with Love. And they do a cover of Hey Joe. And their cover of Hey Joe is my favorite. It's got more of a street kind of vibe feel. It's got a garage, more of a garage theme. The only group that ever had a hit with it was these guys, the Leaves. They had a hit with Hey Joe, charting hit. Jimi Hendrix has probably the best known version of the song, right? And then you've got Tim Rose, who does a very completely different than everybody else. It's a folk version of it. But for my money, I'm going to stick with Love's version. It's garage, it's R&B style. It's very Arthur Lee. This is the kind of stuff that he did best. I know I'm more of a Brian McLean fan, but Arthur, the garage stuff, I like it better than the psych stuff off Da Capo. Da Capo's a great record. And then, of course, their masterpiece, it's still my all-time favorite album, is Forever Changes. But so for me, their version of Hey Joe, which was done by a million bands, but there was 4 examples, their version was best, I think. I don't have the Pat Benatar cover, but they do the original version of You Better Run. Pat Benatar did a pretty good cover of it, but the Rascals version of You Better Run, my favorite. Okay, so we were talking about Samantha Fish earlier. So this is the original. And Barbara Lewis's not Baby I'm Yours, but Hello Stranger. It's on the Baby I'm Yours album. Her version is one of my 20 favorite songs of all time. I love that song. But Samantha Fish covers it. And I think I prefer her cover version to the original, right? The original version, at least. And if I'm not right, if somebody did these before them and I misrepresent, I apologize. But to my knowledge, that Barbara Lewis. I don't know that she wrote it, but she did the first version that I'm aware of. But Samantha Fish's cover, to me, is the superior version. I love Samantha Fish. She's great blues guitarist. So Curtis Mayfield. Now this is a greatest hit. This is the only way I have a copy of this record, and it's Gypsy Woman. The original to me is better than the cover, which is Brian Hyland. Now Brian Hyland had a hit with the song, and I love Brian Hyland's version, but you can't beat the impressions in Curtis Mayfield. This is the superior version. It's more soul. There's a lot more soul. Brian Hyland was pretty good for what he was. You know, he was kind of a pop star. He was a bit of a folk star, but I'm going to stick with the original now on that one. Okay, so this next one, we got to go a couple different ways with this. So Voodoo Child, Slight Return. Well, let's actually start with All Along the Watchtower. This is the Electric Ladyland. I also have the UK version, but we're not showing that because it's a little too risque for YouTube, even though this is not made for kids. But anyhow, we'll start with All Along the Watchtower. Now, I don't have Bob Dylan's John Wesley Hardin album anymore. I have purged a lot of Dylan stuff. I kept some, but that is not one that I kept. He did the original, but All Along the Watchtower, Jimi Hendrix massively improved it. His Voodoo Child, Slight Return is better than the cover, which is Stevie Ray Vaughan. And I like Stevie Ray Vaughan, don't get me wrong, this is a cool picture disc, and it's the only way I have the song. His version is great. I think he has a great voice. People talk about Stevie Ray Vaughan's guitar. I think he's got a great singing voice too. I really do. But to me, I will take the original of Voodoo Child, Slight Return. Although, if you're going to make me pick between Slight Return and the Voodoo Child that's the jam session that's got Steve Winwood, I'm going to take the Steve Winwood jam session version all day long. That's way my favorite. So the next one comes off in about 3 different parts, or 4 different parts here, it looks like. So this is a 4-parter. So the original, and not my favorite, is Dazed and Confused. And a lot of people think it's titled differently, and I don't think it is. I think it's Dazed and Confused. A lot of people think it's I'm Confused. No, and it's Dazed and Confused. It says it on the back there, folks. Dazed and Confused. It's an original on Tower. I love this. His version is great. Is great. Jimmy Page, Jake Holmes opened for a while for the Yardbirds. And Jimmy Page, they do, when he's with the Yardbirds, the version of Dazed and Confused, which there's some controversy as to who wrote what, when, how, and why, and improved it or whatever. It doesn't matter. The Yardbirds, in essence, cover a very similar version to this. Jake Holmes is better. And then he goes to Led Zeppelin, and they do it again, Dazed and Confused. And it's completely, they updated, it's different, it's better. I'm going to like the Jake Holmes version best than Led Zeppelin, but Led Zeppelin, when Jimmy Page got to Zeppelin, he made Dazed and Confused a lot better. Is Dazed and Confused on this? Yeah, Dazed and Confused is on this. But I purged a lot of my Zeppelin because I've got some comps on CDs, so I don't have. There's a song that the Small Faces do called, let's see. I'm trying to think what they titled it. They title it, let me find it. You Need Lovin'. And they take credit for writing it. I think it was either Muddy Waters or Bo Diddley, one or the other, did it originally, but they just kind of took it and said that they wrote it. And then Led Zeppelin later did it, later did the song as well. They claim to have written it. Small Faces version came before that, but it was done by Muddy Waters or Bo Diddley first. I like the Small Faces version better. Everybody knows I love Steve Marriott, though I'm a big Small Faces guy. I'm always going to take the Small Faces over everybody all day long. So the next one is a song called, so the first time I became aware of this song was when the movie 1969 came out. And it's Windows of the World. This is a 45. This was a gift from somebody. They know who they are, and I'll leave it at that. It's The Pretenders. 19. The movie was called 1969. It had Kiefer Sutherland, and it had the guy from Iron Man, the guy, the actor. I told somebody that I was going to write stuff down, and I didn't. I tried to do this from memory, and I forgot the actor's name, but the guy from Iron Man, he's been in a lot of other stuff too. They were in this movie together. It's two guys trying to ditch out on the Vietnam War, or one of them is. The other one's Kiefer Sutherland's brother is a Marine. He gets killed. And it doesn't matter. But so Windows of the World, The Pretenders cover, and Dionne Warwick, she didn't write it, but she did the first Windows of the World. I like her version. No, I like the Pretenders version better. Dionne Warwick's version is great, though. I love it. But also, Dionne Warwick did Walk On By, which was later covered by Isaac Hayes on Hot Buttered Soul, and I'm going to take the Dionne Warwick version of that. Although his version, at least it's different. It's okay. The next one, and I don't know who did it first. So, but it's one's covering the other, or they're both covering somebody else. It's probably done by a blues artist first. I just don't know who did. Milk Cow Blues. Both the Kinks and the Chocolate Watch Band do it. And I like the Chocolate Watch Band version better. It's more guttural. It's got like not tambourine in it, but it's got maraca in it, and it feels like it's really steeped in the deep South kind of, the way Aguiar spits don't get me wrong, the guitar playing is great too, because you've got Davies and you've got Mark Loomis, who was a great guitar player for the Chocolate Watch Band, but there's something about the way Dave Aguiar spits the lyrics out. I mean, it's like he's spitting venom almost. So Chocolate Watch Band, Milk Cow Blues, better version, my opinion. We're getting there. A few more, and then we'll be done, I promise. So this goes a couple of different ways. So we got Satisfaction, which is a cover by Otis Redding, of course, Rolling Stones. I'm taking the Rolling Stones. However, I don't have the record anymore, but That's How Strong My Love Is, because I have some comps of Otis Redding that I have on CD. I kept this because this is a rare record. This is a cool record, so I kept this. Plus, this was a gift from Sam, the vinyl professor, psych professor. Sorry, Sam, got your thing wrong. So a gift from him and Matt Sands. So kept that. But he does That's How Strong My Love Is, which is an O.V. Wright song. The guy that did Little Green Apples, I think, was first. Otis covers that. And then the Creation also cover it. And the Creation's cover is my absolute favorite version of that song. Of That's How Strong My Love Is. That's how strong my love is. So we're down to the last few here, I promise. So, Man Who Sold the World. David Bowie. They're completely different versions. And what I really like about the unplugged version from Nirvana is that they're not trying to copy. David Bowie's more in that, that space rock that was kind of going on in the early 70s kind of stuff. Prog kind of has more of a prog feel. Nirvana, it just feels a lot dirtier, and I like that. So I'm going to pick the Nirvana. I think Nirvana kind of made it their own song in a way. Next one is Changes. So you got the Black Sabbath version, which is great. But this Charles Bradley version, especially here we are on Mother's Day, he dedicated his version of the song to his mother who had passed away. Now he's passed away, unfortunately, too. Black Sabbath is doing a farewell concert in July, I think, and then they're hanging them up. But this is hard to pick. I'm going to say Charles Bradley, even though Black Sabbath is amazing, too. Don't get me wrong, so don't hate on me for that. But Changes, I'm going to go with Charles Bradley. It's Mother's Day. He dedicated the song to his mother. His version is completely different than Sabbath's. I'm going to go with Charles Bradley. What have we got? One or two more left here to do. Looks like we got, we're going to finish up with Eric Burdon. That's right, because it's his birthday today, Eric Burdon's birthday. So you've got Nina Simone doing, and the Animals, who did Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood. And Eric Burdon tells a great story about meeting Nina Simone backstage at some club in New York. And she said, "Are you that little white bastard that stole my song?" Great. Both great versions. I'm going to give it up for the Animals. As great as Nina Simone's version is, too, I'm going to take the Animals. They're both great. Animals win that one for me. Got one last one, and it is Paint It Black. I first became aware of the song Paint It Black from the Rolling Stones. Or from the the Rolling Stones version from the TV series Tour of Duty, which was about the Vietnam War. And it was the theme. It was the original theme song. When you watch the show now, it's got some generic things. They've lost the rights to all the music, so the show sucks. Because it was a show. My dad's a Vietnam vet. I could watch that show with my dad because it was just not quite realistic enough that it didn't bother him to watch it. So we watched the show together, and it had the great music. That's what really made the series. And when they took the music away, the series just flopped. I can't stand watching it now. So Paint It Black, Rolling Stones did the original version, but Eric Burdon and the Animals covered it, and it's so much freaking better than Mick Jagger. It kind of comes off as, somebody complaining, like a little bit whiny, but this comes off as like Eric Burdon. It just comes off as somebody pissed off and angry about the state of the situation. What I really like is in this gatefold, this has nothing to do with anything, but all these people they thank, a lot of these people were like the original Animals, and then this is all about the new Animals over here. But you can tell, he's even thinking Price. Price ripped them all off with House of the Rising Sun. But anyhow, if you've never heard the Animals cover, not the live version that they do at the Monterey Pop Festival, but this album version, holy crap. This is one of my favorite songs of all time. But anyhow, that's it. Covers. Which ones do you like best? Which ones should I have talked about that I didn't? If you've got some that you like that I didn't mention them. We'll talk about it in the comments. You guys take care. We'll see you next time. Bye.